Hey guys, welcome. Let's go ahead and get into our chapter 2-3 study guide. I will be dropping a special whisper word, so make sure you listen for it. I don't know when it's going to happen. This video, next video, I don't know. But let's go ahead and get started. All right, multi-step equations. So we need to always make sure we take care of distributive property first. So we're going to distribute in here, so that's going to become a negative 5x. And then negative 5 times a negative 2 is a positive 10. Negative times a negative is a positive. Then we have to distribute the negative here to make a negative x and a negative 2 equals 50. Okay. Next, we're going to go ahead and combine like terms. We get negative x and a negative 5x. They're on the same side, so we can go ahead and combine them. So that's going to be a negative 6x, and then these two we combine. 10 minus 2 is going to be 8. All right, and then we can subtract 8 from both sides. It's a two-step equation, and we are going to get 42, and then we're going to divide by negative 6 on both sides of the equation, and we're going to get a negative number because 42 and a negative 6 is going to give us a negative 7. Okay. All right, again, we're distributing, so we distribute that negative. We're going to combine like terms right here and here. That's going to be 8 minus 6, so that's 2 minus 3x equals 2 minus 3x. Notice it is the exact same on both sides. So what's going to happen when I add 3x to both sides, it cancels out and we get 2 equals 2, which means our answer is infinite. Okay, we have infinite answers for x, or we could write all real numbers. All right, distribute that negative, we get 3x minus 7x minus 12. Distribute that 2, we get 2x minus 6. Again, we're going to combine like terms. 3 minus 7 is going to give you a negative 4x minus 12 equals 2x minus 6. And then we're going to add 4 to both sides because it is the smaller of the two. And negative 12 will equal 6x minus 6. And then we're going to add 6 to both sides, believe it or not. And negative 12 plus 6 is the negative 6 equals 6x. Divide by 6 on both sides. X equals a negative 1. Okay. So a lot of distributive property if you haven't noticed. Okay, a lot of distributive property. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at this next one. We're redoing distributive property again. Negative 7x plus 21 equals 11 minus 7x. Add 7x to both sides. And we get 21 equals 11. Is that true? 21 equals 11? No. So our answer is no solution. So just remember, number 2 and number 4 are real good examples of where we could have infinite solutions. That's when 2 equals 2, right? They equal each other. The x's got canceled out. Or when we have two numbers that don't equal each other, then we would say no solution. So these are two really good examples of when we would not have just a normal answer, where we could have all real numbers or no solution. All right, let's look at inequalities. Again, distributive property. It's like we're trying to hammer home this idea. 2x plus 6 is greater than or equal to 4x minus 4. And again, I distributed that 4 in. Move the smaller piece, subtract the 2x from both sides. And then we're going to add 4 to both sides. Move everything away from the x. And then divide by 2. That's going to give me 5 is greater than or equal to x. Now, when we graph this, sometimes kids like to flip this around. So if I want, I can go ahead and change this to be 5 on this side, x on this side, and make the less than symbol go like that. So these are equivalent statements. They mean the exact same thing, but occasionally we can go ahead and use these to help us out. Okay? So I'm going to actually write it like this. 0, 5, and it's a closed circle. X is less than, so it's going to head towards 0. And we're good to go. Wow, there's 25 problems. This is going to take a while. Here we go. Number 6. Over here, we're going to have to distribute. So we get 5x plus 24, 2x minus 18, and 3x. We're going to go ahead and combine like terms because they're on the same side. So we're going to get negative 18 minus x. And then here we're going to add this over. It's the smaller guy. Always get the variables to the same side before we start moving any constants. Subtract 24. 6x is greater than negative 18 minus a 24 is going to be 42. Divide by 6. I do not flip the sign because I didn't divide by a negative. I divided a negative, but not by a negative. Okay, and we get negative 7. X is greater, so it's an open circle, and it's bigger than 7, so we're going to go that way, or negative 7, I apologize. Okay, next up, distribute. Negative 9. X, negative times a negative is a positive 45 plus 9. 3x plus 42. Okay, we're going to go ahead and combine like terms over here. Negative 9x plus 54 less than 3x plus 42. Now I'm going to move the smaller piece, which would be the negative 9. Always move the negatives if possible so we can get rid of them. So you get 54 is less than, this is going to become 12x plus 42. And we're going to subtract 42 from both sides. We're going to get 12x is less than, I'm going to subtract that, I'm going to get 12. So we're going to get 1 is less than x. Again, I could rewrite that as x is greater than 1 if I want. And then we get 0, 1, open circle, it's greater, so it's going towards the greater numbers. As long as x is on that side, it makes sense. All right, literal equations. We're solving for y. So I want to somehow get this piece alone, which means everything else needs to go away. And then this one, I want to get this piece alone. So the first step I'm going to do is get rid of the 3x by subtracting it from both sides. Now 18 and 3x do not combine, so we just leave them separate. And then when I divide by 9, I have to divide each piece by 9. And 18 divided by 9, negative, is a negative 2. And this is going to become a positive 1/3 x. Down here, we're going to do the same thing, get rid of the 6x by subtracting it. And then we're going to divide everything by 3. That cancels. So I get y equals, that's going to be 12 divided by 3, which is 4. 6 divided by 3, which is negative 2. There we go. All right, solve each inequality. This is an OR problem, so we know we're going to graph out towards. So we're going to go ahead and add 11 to both sides here. That's a positive 16. I didn't have to put plus 16. I didn't mean to really do that. Negative 4. I'm dividing by negatives, so I'm going to flip the inequality. So it's very important that you guys see right here, the inequality got flipped because I divided by a negative. Okay, so that flip did occur. Over here, we're going to add 7. Give myself a little bit more space. Divide by 8, and we're going to get 2. So here's my two problems separated by the word OR. So my answer would be x is less than negative 4 or x is greater than 2. So I write 2 over here, negative 4, and I know it's going outwards. And so we do open, open, out, out. We have another OR problem. add 1. This is negative 16. Again, I'm dividing by a negative here, so x, and we're going to flip this to be 8. So again, I flip my inequality because I divided by a negative. Over here, I'm going to subtract 1 and get 3, but then I have to divide by a negative 1. So we're going to get a negative 3 over here, but notice, again, my sign flips because I divided by a negative. And this guy's smaller, so I'm going to actually write him first. X is less than or equal to negative 3, or x is greater than 8. And then we're going to go ahead and drop negative 3, 8. This is going to be closed, this is going to be open, and it's going outwards. Okay. Woo! 12. We're not even halfway there. Woly woly. Okay, here we go. Next, we're going to go ahead and subtract 5 from both sides. And when I say both, I mean all 3 sides. This is an AND problem. I don't know if you can tell my hands are doing the AND symbol. And. Okay, so we get over here, 32 minus 5 is going to be 27. And over here, this is going to become a negative 36. And then I'm going to divide both sides by 9, or all 3 sides. That's a negative 4. And that's a positive 3. So this is an AND problem. Negative 4 less than x, which is less than 3. So drop 3, drop 4, open, open, and we graph inward towards each other. You can have your cake and eat it too. Not you can have your cake or eat it. That wouldn't make sense. I don't understand why. How would you not have your cake and eat it? Like, does someone give you cake and you don't eat it? I just don't get that. By the way, cake is not the extra credit word. I have to whisper it. Psh, whatever. Okay, add 10 to both sides. That's going to become 4. That's going to become negative 14. Divide by 2 both sides. Negative 7 and 2. Notice, smaller number, bigger number. Always got to be in that order. Fill in, open, and it's an AND problem. All right, absolute value equations. Notice the absolute value is all by itself, so we automatically go to case 1 and case 2. This just becomes x plus 1 equals 6. This becomes x plus 1 equals a negative 6. Because the negative could fit in the absolute value part because it's going to come out as a positive 6 once I take the absolute value. Subtract 1, x equals 5. Subtract 1, x equals negative 7. 2 negatives add together to make a bigger negative. This one we can't do our cases until I divide by negative 4 first. And when I divide this by a negative 4, we get a positive 8. And now I can do case 1, case 2. The second one is going to be a negative 8. Again, the difference is we change the positive to a negative. That's it. These inside don't change positive and negative. Subtract 6, and we're going to get 2. Subtract 6, and we're going to get negative 14. Divide by 2, x equals 1. Divide by 2, x equals negative 7. Okay. Moving on. Moving on. Moving on, so many problems to complete. Okay, here we go. 2x plus 8. This is a great or then sign, so great or. So we're going to make this into an or problem. So this is going to be 2x plus 8 is greater or equal to 6, or 2x plus 8 is less than or equal to negative 6. So notice, we don't just change the sign, we also change the inequality. Okay, so this becomes negative, but the inequality also flips. So we'll go ahead and solve. Subtract 8. subtract 8, divide by 2, divide by 2, write the word or, smaller number on the left, larger number on the right. We know this is going outward. Fill in, and it's going out because it is an or problem. Okay, so you can consider this case 1, case 2 still. Right, we still have 2 cases, but we don't just change the sign of the positive to a negative, but we also put that inequality on there. Okay, here we go. This is a less than. So we know it's going to become an and problem. So all I have to do is just leave this and throw on 1 on this side with a negative 35. Subtract 7 from both sides. Over here we get negative 42. The lights went down in the city. And we subtract 7 from here and we get, what, 28? Divide both sides or all sides by 7. Get negative 6. And that's going to be positive 4. Larger number is always on the right, just like on the number line. Open circle, and we graph in. This is another and problem. I don't know why I spelled that so weird. First, though, we have to subtract the 22, and we get 5x plus 5 is greater than. This is going to be, oh, I'm sorry, this is a greater than problem. What am I doing? Great, or this is going to become, what, 35? Okay, absolute value. So we're going to do case 1, 5x plus 5. Wow, I'm getting sloppy. Case 2, 5x plus 5 is less than negative 35. Again, I'm switching the sign of the inequality and from positive to a negative. And so we can solve both of these. I'm going to subtract 5. That would be 30 divided by 5. X is greater than 6. Doing this a little bit in my head, going a little faster. I apologize. Subtract 5, I get negative 40. Divide by 5, and you're going to get negative 8. Open circle. It's or, so we're going outward. Oh, don't forget the word or. Oop. Okay. Here we go. Subtract 7 on both sides. That's going to become a negative 6. Divide by 2 on both sides. Okay. We have a negative right here, so we got to think for a second. I'm going to actually pause this problem, and I'm going to go to the next one and take a look at it. Let's subtract 18. Oops. And that is going to be greater than negative 3. And we're going to pause here. Okay, so notice we have negatives. So this is a problem. We can't have equations, absolute values, equal negatives. But with less than and greater than, we can. It's kind of interesting. So what does this mean? It means whatever comes out of here is going to become a positive number. Can a positive number be less than a negative number? Is that possible? Can a positive number be less than a negative number? And the answer is no. So we know that this is going to be a no solution. There's nothing I can do to make this work. Over here, can a positive be greater than negative 3? Yeah, every positive number in the world is bigger than negative 3. So the answer is yes. So that means I have infinite solutions, or all real numbers, right? Whatever you want to write there as our final answer. So those are 2 key different ones. So really make sure you key in on that. If you have a negative with absolute values, it's always a red flag. With an equal sign, it's just no solution. With an Inequality sign, it could be either or, so make sure you know the difference between the two. All right, 21. Let's go ahead and cross multiply. 5 times 28 equals 20 times x. And I have a calculator here because 5 times 28, that's a decently sized number. I'm not sure what that one is off the top of my head. So I get 140 equals 20 times x, divide by 20. And that's going to give me, I believe, 7. Is that right? Let's just double check. I believe that is 7. Yeah, so x equals 7. The trail mix you're making, oh, that's nice. For 3 cups of peanuts for every cup of raisin. How many cups of peanuts do you need to add if you have 5 cups of raisins? So it's a 3-to-1 ratio, right? So we have 3 cups of peanuts to 1 cup of raisins. Okay? Well, I want 5 cups of raisins. How many peanuts do I have to have? Well, we can cross multiply. This is going to become 1x, or just x equals 3 times 5. So x equals 15 cups of peanuts. Done. That was nice and easy. All right, some more proportions. Cross multiply here. 2 times 24 equals 3 times x. That's going to be 48 equals 3x. And then we're going to divide by 3. And I use my calculator. I'm not gonna lie. And I got 16. And we're done. Next two are a little bit trickier because we have to distribute. If you haven't noticed, that's a key term for us. So we're going to do 3. I always like to put the binomials is what these are called. We're going to get to that later in this year. And we're going to go ahead and put this in parentheses so I recall that I have to distribute. Yes, don't forget. 3x minus 21 equals 5x minus 25. Move the smaller piece, so we're going to move 3x. That's what I think of you, Sneeze. Add the 25 over. And we get 4 equals 2x. Divide by 2. X equals 2. Woo. Hefty. Last problem, cross multiply again. I'm going to go ahead and write those parentheses in because that's always muy importante. And distribute. Okay, so 6 times x, 6x. 6 times 7, 42. 4x, negative 10. Subtract the 4x. It is smaller. It is. I feel like my algebra skills are getting better after this video. That is for sure. Move the 42 away, so we're going to have to add it. It almost helps when you talk out loud, I feel like. I don't know, maybe not. Divide by 2. Maybe I've just done this forever. X equals 16. And guess what? We did it. Boom!